Welcome to the Maximum Edge Sports Wagering Show. My name is John Santucci. Call me Tooch. I got Anthony here. We're going to be breaking down some college basketball. But first, one question. March Madness is driving me mad. You know, it's been tougher this year, I think, than last year. I mean, the dogs are barking today. Favorites were barking the other day. And I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm staying up all night capping games, and all the hard work that you and I do. You know, we're like, we love these games, and it just doesn't hit sometimes. Luckily, we've both been winning more than we've been losing, so that's a good sign.
It's been a grind.
Yeah, it is a grind, man. I was telling my wife I was telling you today also. I was like, I should take March off next year from work because just take.
I've been glued. I've been glued to the TV all day since tip off. That Providence and Butler game, and I was on the edge of my seat because I told my VIPs, I have never given away a 5-unit or even a 1-unit 16 money line parlay, and plus 236, it hit.
Which I tailed
for $500, and it paid. I mean, it was a nice hit, and we had Iowa -8 to start the day. I mean, we are in good. We got a lot of games tonight, so I'm super excited. But I can't get away from the TV. It's so exciting. These games are great.
Yep. As far as the Hawkeyes, like I'm in Iowa. I'm probably too close to the situation, but I should have been all over that, and I apologize to VIPs for that miss on my part. But
can't. I mean, there's so many games. It's so easy.
There's so many games. You know, it was this close to making my card too. You know, it's the same with Kent State, which I love that game too. And I just went with some other games I thought maybe had a slighter edge. Let's see. One of the bigger edges on my spreadsheet was the over Duke versus Syracuse, which went over by 20. So that was another hit for the spread, for the fabled spreadsheet. That
the only reason we couldn't touch it, we didn't trust Syracuse in scoring. With Buddy Boeheim out.
Boeheim out. Yep.
I never would have guessed they would have scored in the 80s. Oh my gosh! I was like, this. You got to give Syracuse credit. They played their hearts out.
Yep.
Duke to the limit. So I'm very, very interested on what the next step is for Duke in the next round. So because they're gonna have to bring their A game. Yeah, very much.
Only 11 games tomorrow, I think, are scheduled so far. Tonight we got some games to talk about, but first
there's a lot of games tomorrow.
Oh, okay, is there? Okay, I was looking at the schedule so far, only 11 so far, but yeah, looks like I will be getting zero sleep again tonight.
It's gonna be just like today.
Jesus.
Because you're gonna have winner going into the next bracket. But Sunday is when there's not gonna be a lot of games. Saturday is gonna get more limited. Sunday there's only gonna be a handful of games. But
great. Well, today there were 61 games, I think. 61.
You're probably looking around maybe 30 or 40 tomorrow.
Okay, that I can handle.
A lot of games. Yeah.
61 took me a long time to get through some of these games, handicapping. But overshadowing some of the March Madness news is NFL news, Anthony. Our hometown Bears traded Khalil Mack, maybe arguably the best player on their roster, although, aging and, injuries the last years have kind of slowed him down. He goes to the Chargers for a second-round pick this year and a sixth-round pick next year. Your thoughts, Khalil Mack to the Chargers?
I think it's a great move. I mean, because the Bears are not going to win next year. I mean, if the Bears had a winning team and there's a shot to win the Super Bowl this year, or even a chance to get to the Super Bowl, I would say keep him. I mean, we need the pass rush. He's the threat. Everyone double covers him, but he's going to be sitting out. He's going to be injured. I mean, you got to take what you can get out of him. He's not the youngest guy anymore. I mean, I hate to see him go personally, but in a business standpoint, he's got to go. I mean, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, and I'm not sure teams are really offering all that much for an injured player, but Bears fans were certainly they were looking forward to seeing Mack and Quinn, at the same time. But Quinn injured. Quinn injured first year 2 years ago, and Mack injured this past season, this year. and they just never really were on the field that much together. So Bears fans were looking forward to that. They won't get the chance to see that. I guess we'll have to settle for that second round pick. Although we gave up, I don't know how many first round picks for Mac. You know, I think a first, 2 firsts, and we got back a second, something like that, when we traded for Mac from the Raiders. Other news: Aaron Rodgers becomes the highest paid player in NFL history with a 4-year, $200 million deal that should end when he's around 44 years old. Are you happy staying in Green Bay? Want the chance to beat him?
It's not like he's going to win a Super Bowl. But he's still going to own the Bears. I mean, it doesn't matter. This guy's 50 years old. He'll still beat the shit out of the Bears. I hate to say it. But I mean, he's going to go down as one of the best regular season quarterbacks of all time. Because he pretty much gets 5-6 wins every year in his division. Lions, Bears, and Vikings. I mean, the easiest division of them all, if you think about it. It's not hard to beat the Lions twice a year. The Vikings is probably the biggest challenge. Going to Soldier Field the Bears always. Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest place for him to play at this age. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, NFC North, right? Russell Wilson gets traded to the Broncos. The Broncos give up a ton for him, like picks and players, including Noah Fant, who former Iowa Hawkeye tight end. He goes to Seattle. Who's going to quarterback the Seahawks next year, Anthony?
They're going to find a way to get a decent. They're trying to rebuild.
Yeah.
But the Broncos, I mean, don't get too excited, Broncos fans. I mean, your division is stacked. I mean, I'm predicting that
it's a tough division. Yeah.
Maybe 4th.
Great point.
I mean, they got a great defense, but Russell Wilson's past his prime. I mean, we saw last year. He still has weapons. He can't scramble like he used to. He's not as accurate as he used to. I mean, he made his big plays last year because of Tyler Lockett and
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, DK Metcalf.
He's an animal.
Had those big guys. He's got Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Judy's not the type of guy that's a Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
Courtland Sutton's
I mean, those receivers are beasts. No. But that's just not going to be enough to challenge that division. The Chiefs are still number 1.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be nice. It's going to be
Chargers are tough.
Fan.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to from this much to that much.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say. It'll be fun to watch, I'll say that. But I wouldn't get too excited.
The quarterbacks are on the move. Carson Wentz traded to the Washington Commanders. Now, get used to saying Commanders. Do you like the name?
I know, right? I feel like I'm in the military. I mean, no, I don't like the name. It's not a sports name.
No.
I mean, this is just ridiculous. We got to get rid of this. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, this is ridiculous. They're still the Redskins to me. But I think it is a good fit for Carson Wentz because that offense is stacked. They got great offense, great weapons. They just need a quarterback. Tyler Heinicke just couldn't get the job done throwing the ball. I mean, Wentz is not the greatest, but it's just enough. And I don't blame Carson Wentz fully on not making the playoffs last year. They didn't beat the Jaguars, but the defense didn't help them either. So
the defense folded down the stretch. Do you find it strange that Carson Wentz only lasted 1 year in Indianapolis after they traded for him?
I didn't see it coming. Let's just say that.
Neither did I. That was out of the blue for me. I mean, who's going to quarterback the Colts next year?
That's the $1 million question right there. $1 million question.
All right, well, let's hit some of these games. What's the first game we got on tap tonight?
Oh, we got Virginia and North Carolina as our first game.
All right. So Virginia coming off a win last night. I gave this play out, I think, last night to clients. Let's see. They were my mind is blanking on where Virginia was last night playing.
Oh, they played Louisville.
Louisville,
won by 1. Squeaked one by there.
Right, and okay,
it was a squeaker.
My play was that Virginia and Nevada money line parlay that hit. Both those teams won. So Virginia versus North Carolina head to head. Let's see. I think North Carolina swept the season series this year. Is that correct?
North Carolina?
Yes.
Over.
North Carolina swept Virginia this year, I think.
I'll tell you right now. They beat Virginia at home 74-58. And then they did not play them yet. This is the second meeting between these two.
It's only the second. North Carolina won the first meeting. This game is tipping off in about, what, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
This tips off at
2 hours.
9:30 Eastern time.
9:30 Eastern, 3 hours. 3 hours. You have plenty of time to get your bets in. It's a 4-point spread. Over under is 130. It's bet down a little bit to the under. I kind of like the over, Anthony. I think Virginia will want to slow the game down. They played last night. They are a slower tempo team, more defensive oriented under Coach Bennett. But North Carolina, if they're smart, they're going to want to run and get Virginia out running. So I'm kind of leaning to the under on there. How do you feel about the total in the side?
The total, I would lean under. I think Virginia stabilizes the tempo. I mean, they stabilized the tempo versus Duke. There's no reason why they can't do it versus North Carolina. North Carolina did beat the hell out of them in North Carolina with the crowd behind them in the neutral court. I continue to predict bad free throws. Doesn't matter where these games are being played. Everybody is struggling on free throws.
I texted you last night, last night and this morning. I've never seen so many missed free throws.
I don't know what it is. It's these neutral courts. It's in their head that they just can't shoot them. And it's not just one team. It's everybody. It's everybody in a combined. Even Arizona struggled in free throws. So it's not just yesterday, 13 for 29. And let's not talk about Xavier because that was like the game from hell. But free throws is the issue in this. And both teams are both pretty decent in free throws. But the edge goes to North Carolina, in my opinion. Why?
Yeah.
If North Carolina can't get to the hoop, they are 1,000 times better jump shooting team than Virginia. Virginia is a grinded out fight, physical. Carolina doesn't need to get inside if they don't have to. They'll jump shoot. They'll shoot threes. They're not afraid to take those risky shots. I love North Carolina. I even have a prediction. They got a chance to win this whole conference tournament. Don't sleep on North Carolina. This is one of the biggest sleepers of the tournament.
Yeah, North Carolina averages close to 80 points a game. They're like the 20 in the top 30 offenses in the country, and they're top 20 free throw shooting team too. Virginia not terrible either. They're top 100. So these are two teams that do shoot the free throw a little bit better. I lean North Carolina. Just their offense is better. They put the ball in the hoop more, and they're not coming off the back-to-back. Virginia played last night. I know you say, fatigue can in the waning minutes of a game, fatigue can come in, whether it's legs, at the free throw line or whatever. And undoubtedly, all the missed free throws, nerves have a lot to. These kids are under a lot of pressure to perform.
Oh yeah, especially when you got a full-out crowd that cheers for both teams. Some of these schools are playing in Madison Square Garden. That's like the mecca of all stadiums. So, all the professionals. When you go to Madison Square Garden, it's like I said, it's like the mecca of stadiums. Of course, they're nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're leaning North Carolina, and I like the over. You like the under.
I can't touch the total. I just love the side.
I don't think there's any value in the under anymore. It's been bet down from 136 to 130, so that's why I lean over.
I got 2 units at North Carolina, and I feel confident in my 2 units.
So I make this total around 135. So I would play the over in this one. The total, the opening line was 136. So usually the opening line's about the best line you're going to get, is close,
Yep.
So it's been bet down as people like the under. And now that I don't think there's any more value, I would play the over. That's just me. And then, if it does happen to go to overtime, you're still, your over bet looks a lot better than your under bet. All right. So we are looking at next game. We got
Iowa State, Texas Tech.
Right on. The Iowa State Cyclones getting 8.5 points versus Texas Tech, man. Arguably the best defense in the country. Iowa State pretty good on defense, though, too. My initial lean was saying I saw Iowa State cover against Baylor. A good defense, good offense, a very balanced team. They still covered. They came within 7 of Baylor. Texas Tech, not really an offensive juggernaut. My lean is taking Iowa State +8 plus the big number. It's not a game I played, but you're like a play on the total.
Yeah, I like the under. I mean, I like Texas Tech a lot, but 8.5 is a lot. They're not at home; it's a neutral court, so it very much well could be a tight game. I mean, they just 51-52. There's no reason why it doesn't do that the same. I don't see how these two teams score 60. So I would lean Texas Tech 58-51 type game. Under.
I'm with you with the close. I lean Iowa State. I mean, Iowa State is a top 10 team in defensive efficiency.
Yep.
Would it surprise you to know that Texas Tech has lost 2 of their last 3 games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing much to say about it. I mean,
yeah.
I say the regular season's over. I got a future ticket on Texas Tech for the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. I just hope they start getting hot because they're not hot right now.
Well, Texas Tech averages about 62 points a game away from Lubbock. So, that would fit around with the total. Iowa State, not a good offense either.
The reason I love Texas Tech is they got the size. They can match up against anybody in the country, and they have, like you said, arguably the best defense in the nation. So they can match up. I mean, if they play good defense and they hit their free throws, which about average in free throws, 70%.
Yep.
Not the greatest.
Neither team very good.
Yeah.
Texas Tech arguably better at the line.
Texas Tech's gonna have to pull some luck.
So the big advantage in this game is rebounding. I mean, Texas Tech, like you mentioned, has a size. They definitely have the rebounding advantage, both offensively and defensively. That's why I think Texas Tech will win the game. I do think Iowa State's quite capable of keeping it within 8.5. That's why my lean is Iowa State plus the points, and leaning towards the under in these games, especially with these two teams away from their home courts. T-Mobile Center is where the venue is for this one. I think that's Las Vegas, right? T-Mobile Center?
Yep. Las Vegas. That's where no, I'm sorry. This is Kansas City.
Kansas City, that's right. Yep. Kansas City.
Playing Kansas City.
Yep. So,
I mean,
playing
it's more of a home game for Iowa, distance-wise. But I don't think it's going to be like big of a
2.5, 3 hours away from here.
Still,
bigger travel for Texas Tech. Yeah, we'll see how the Iowa State crowd travels. They might have a decent-sized crowd there.
It wouldn't surprise me a bit.
All right. We got one last game, and this is, this last game probably going to be a bit of a dogfight. Total's only 113.5 points. I could see the under in this one, too. Fresno State played last night versus San Jose State in overtime. So they played an overtime game late last night. They're playing a late game tonight versus San Diego State, arguably one of the best defensive teams in the country, San Diego State. Fresno State's led by Orlando Robinson, a future NBA player. You stop him, you pretty much stop Fresno State, though, Anthony. Are you muted? Muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Orlando Brown. He's a future
Yep.
NBA player. Dude's a beast. Um, ever since that one day we took San Diego State and I watched them play, I mean, I'd rather poke myself in the eye with a knife. That's how bad San Diego State played, and
Their
that's how
offense
they've
is
always
not
played.
fun to watch.
It's
Yeah.
it's like watching the SWAC. If anyone watches the SWAC, these guys can't make layups. These guys don't even know how to shoot. I mean, I can literally go to the courts down the street, grab 5 guys, 6 guys, bring them into the stadium, and probably compete face to face with them, and probably beat them. That's how bad these San Diego State plays sometimes. But the
Well, you
SWAC,
got,
yeah, guaranteed I can get 5, 6 guys down the street to beat the SWAC. Anybody on
I'll
the
tell
SWAC.
you, Matt Bradley is a scorer, though. He's changed that San Diego State offense. And then
Yep.
Orlando Robinson's going to come up against Nate Mensah, who's one of the best defenders in the country, also a big rebounder as well. I like San Diego State in this one, especially with Fresno coming off an overtime game last night. I think Mensah can slow down Mr. Robinson. And Matt Bradley, he can score, man. The transfer, I believe he transferred from Utah State. But yeah, he can put the ball in the hoop, averaging around 18 points a game. I like San Diego State to cover the short number. I know, like, taking dogs is a winning strategy.
I love Fresno.
Yeah,
the number's way too high.
I'm on San Diego State for this one.
And
I
I'm
think
going to
San Diego
say
State
one
can
thing:
cover 6.
Orlando Robinson's the difference. He scored 17 points in their loss to San Diego State that they lost by, I think it was 2 or 3 points.
Yep.
0 for 3 in threes and 9 for 12 in free throws. He's not going to repeat those numbers. He's going to put some big numbers up. I love Fresno plus 6. I'm even going to sprinkle the money line. That's how much I love this Fresno State.
See, this is their 4th game.
He scored 34 versus Wyoming, 31 versus San Jose State yesterday.
Yep, he's a monster.
No chance in hell. There's no chance in hell he's going to score 17. He has scored 4 in 4 of his last 5 games. Give me Fresno. Orlando Robinson to the pick.
But here's the deal. This is their 4th game in 8 days tonight. The last 3 games were all overtime. Orlando Robinson is averaging 43.8 minutes per game.
That's okay.
He's been playing a lot.
22 years old.
I know.
Animal. This guy's 21 years old.
Yeah, I'm going to
take the quarterback. Confidence. Yeah. Give me. Even if they lose, I just don't see them winning. San Diego State winning by more than 6. I know you like San Diego State.
Yeah.
I just cannot take San Diego State. I'm sorry. I'd rather lose with Fresno than take San Diego State. That's how much I dislike San Diego State.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna roll with the trends. Aztecs 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games versus a team with a winning straight up record. I think San Diego State will focus on stopping Robinson, and then the fatigue will play a factor in the last.
They did that last game. They did that last
few
game.
minutes.
They stopped them.
That's what they did. Both these teams, Fresno averaged about 65 points a game. San Diego State 66. Fresno defense 58 points allowed a game. San Diego State 58 points a game. These teams are very evenly matched, so I could see why you want the points and stuff. Head to head this season, it was last game was an overtime game, March 3rd. That was the last time. That was the first of those 3 overtime games that Fresno played. And then back in February.
Do you know how tall Orlando Robinson is?
6'11"?
7. There's
foot.
not one person on the San Diego State roster that is taller than 6'10". 2 6'10s, a couple 6'9s, and everybody 6'7" and below. That's why Orlando Robinson.
He's a beast.
This is NBA the game player. You want to do a player prop with Orlando Robinson points over.
Yeah.
I can't say anything about the rest of the team, but Orlando Robinson might score the whole freaking the points for him.
I think back to that first game when San Diego State went into Fresno and won 61-44. Yep. It was I think we had the under in that game, and San Diego State won by 17. So I mean, San Diego State can cover this number. It's It's
San Diego
just,
State won both meetings. They
Yeah.
won both meetings. They won 2 games ago.
Yep.
They beat Fresno in San Diego State 65-64.
Yep.
So, I mean, San Diego State's got their number. I just don't believe they're going to cover the spread.
Yeah.
So
And
San Diego
that
State
would
could very much win.
usually with the system play, we're talking the third time for a team, they're going to win 1 out of 3 for the most part. I mean, obviously that trend is it's not that profitable. I think that trend, the third time's a charm,
Not anymore.
53% of the time only. So you can't really bank on it.
No.
All right. Let's give away some free plays.
Let's do it.
All right. All right. Here we go. You're going with my free play, San Diego State.
San Diego State.
Anthony's on
There's nothing
Fresno
wrong with
State.
it.
Plus
There's
6.
nothing wrong with taking San Diego State. I just don't think they cover the spread. But this is a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
San Diego State is fresher. They got I'm probably wrong, so who knows? San Diego State minus 6. If you like it, take it. North Carolina minus 4 is.
I like that play.
We both agree on Iowa State has a tech under 125. It's going to be a slow-paced game.
Yeah.
And, it's definitely, we see it on the 2 great defenses, bad offenses going at it.
Yep. North Carolina, I like your angle, too, that they could win this tournament.
I love North Carolina. And I hope, I don't quite know how this conference, love to see North Carolina and Duke in the finals.
Yeah.
How sweet would that be? Rubber match with Coach K. How awesome would that be?
Right. For one of his final. Obviously Duke will be in the big dance. North Carolina will be in the big dance. Texas Tech will be in the big dance. San Diego State.
I'm talking about the
conference. I know. In the conference tournament. Let's talk about our conference tournaments real quick before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Iona lost last night to Rider. Who wins that conference tournament? One of my least favorite conference tournaments.
Yes. I'm picking St. Peter's. That team has been pesky all season. They're playing really good. Great defense all year consistently. It's just been their offense. If they start off hot, they usually play the rest of the game consistent. But, I'm picking St. Peter's. You can't. That team, ever since the COVID pause, they have not been the same. You can't trust Rider. Rider is the most. They just got extremely lucky in that game. Niagara, Quinnipiac. Who else is there? Fairfield. I think Fairfield's a
Monmouth.
Yeah, I think Monmouth is the only challenge, but I'm picking St. Peter's. That's my picks. I like St. Peter's the past few weeks. Made some money off them. But St. Peter's is my pick.
All right, so you heard it here. That one's going on. Let's see. What is that team? Pac-12 still got Arizona, UCLA. So here's the thing with the Arizona winning the Pac-12 tournament. They don't really have to win the Pac-12 tournament to get into the big dance. In fact, they're probably trying to avoid injury. UCLA probably doesn't need to win it to make the tournament. The rest of the teams are the ones who are going to be, playing lights out, hard ass all the time, pedal to the floor.
I think UCLA takes it. It's going to come down to Arizona and UCLA. Nothing telling me UCLA is going to take it. Arizona is just too obvious. If it's too obvious, it's more likely not going to happen. And in the Big Ten, I've been saying this the past couple of days. Iowa, watch out for Iowa. They don't have to face all the good teams. They only have to face a couple more teams. They could beat Illinois.
It was minus 800 the other day, and I didn't take it. Now I think it's like minus 400 for Iowa to win, which is still a decent bet.
I got it at plus 1,000.
I'm sorry.
Plus 1,000.
I didn't mean to say minus, plus 800. And now I think it's plus 400, which is not a bad bet.
Iowa is the hottest team going into any of these tournaments. This team will run, score. If you can catch them, great. If not, you got no chance. And that's what they do. That's what they've been doing for the past 2-3 weeks.
That's what they did today.
If you can. We're going to score. We're barely going to play defense. We're going to score, and let's see if you can catch up. If you can score in the 80s game, you've got a chance.
The best defense is a good offense.
Guys are just unbelievable. They're on a high pace. First 5 minutes are at 18 points already. I'm like, it's 5 minutes.
I know they score. The points per possession is how they beat you. You know, they're coming down. They scored. Okay, you go down there, you might score, you might not. You know, Iowa's going to come back and they're going to score again, and probably the next time too. And you better score, you know, all 3 of those times or 2 out of 3. If you're scoring 1 out of 3 of their trips down there, you're not going to catch up because they're so efficient offensively. It's a good play.
Indiana has to play Illinois, and Iowa has to play Rutgers.
Yep.
Now, that's going to be a good spread. I'm guessing Iowa's favored by maybe 5 or 6. Now, everybody is going to be jumping on the Rutgers bandwagon because of how good.
Yep.
But we know the real.
I hope they bring that line down. I hope they bring that line down because I'll be all over Iowa.
I'm going to be Iowa. I'll take Iowa.
Yeah, is that game tomorrow or Saturday?
Tomorrow. Iowa versus Rutgers.
So keep an eye on that game. I know we went over a half hour. It doesn't even seem like a half hour.
Already? Wow. There's so many good games. Even today, there's like 20 more games tonight, guys.
Yeah.
So, like I told my VIPs, now through Sunday is the time to make money. There's so much money.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's money line parlays. I don't care if you got to buy points, teasers. Find your games and play it because this is the time from now to Sunday. You're going to make good money if you're smart about it. Because if you wait till the tournament, you're going to lose your ass. I can guarantee that.
Yep, I agree. All right, before we get out here, are we back tomorrow night? Have to be later tomorrow night.
We'll be back tomorrow. That's okay.
Tomorrow night have to be a little bit later because it's Princess Day. I've got to take the girls to Princess Day, and then I'll be back, and then we can do a later show, later evening, Saturday preview. Tomorrow night. All right, we will see you later. Thanks again for watching. Thank you.
And I'm the team captain. He's the preview, and I'm the main attraction. Unstoppable.